Hi book lovers, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell, I'm a little bit dressed up for today's themed video, which is Halloween, since it's coming up in about a week. This is the best I can do, honestly. I don't celebrate Halloween. I haven't gone trick-or-treating or dressed up since like elementary school, where I dressed up as Belle from Beauty and the Beast. But I've got a dark lip, a headband with some cat ears, and a kind of sort of matching top. Also, I've gotten my pumpkin with me, so this is as Halloween-ish as I can get. For today's video, I wanted to round up some Halloween-related romance reads for you to read if you are in the spooky mood. I personally do not handle horror or anything scary well at all. I already have a plan for Halloween day or Halloween night. I have to walk my dog every evening, so not that anything really scary happens, but just in case, I'm planning on walking him at like 3 p.m. bright daylight, not just to avoid anything like possibly scary happening, but also to avoid the trick-or-treaters. Anyway, let's get back to the video for my book recommendations for Halloween. Not all of them are necessarily like horror or scary, but they do have some element of a creep factor, except for one, which is basically the most that I can handle. But let me know if you do plan on reading any of these, if you're a holiday mood reader. I love making themed lists for you guys, so Christmas one is definitely coming up. But yeah, let's get on to my 6 Halloween romance reads. My first Halloween recommended read is Daughters of the Dead by Karina Halley. This one has zombies and cannibals. It doesn't really center around the Halloween date, but I mean zombies and creepy stuff. I thought it would be perfect for this list. This is one of the few books that actually creeped me the heck out. I reread the review that I posted for this book, and literally the first line says not to read this book late at night. It's just creepy and freaky with like a lot of blood and gore and stuff. So if you're into that, definitely check out this book. This one is actually about the Donner Party story. If you're not familiar with it, it's this group of people who are trying to go west to California, you know, crossing mountains, and unfortunately they get lost and stuck, and they had to resort to cannibalism to survive. And in this case, when they start eating each other, they turn into zombies. And this isn't like a hidden bodies kind of thing. They're actually nasty zombies who want to kill you. In Daughters of the Dead, the heroine Eve is asked to join a search party to help look for these people who got lost, and she finds a little romance with this Texas Ranger who is like big and gruff and growly. That romance was pretty sweet, actually. It's not too big a part of the book, but it was enough to satisfy me. But definitely the main part of this story is the creepiness, the zombies, and trying to survive all of that. This is one of the few horror romances that I've ever read, and I only read it because Karina Halley wrote it, and I like her books, or at least I did back then. Otherwise, I probably would not have touched this one. But I did like it. If you're looking for something creepy, a little bit scary, something that will definitely keep you in suspense, definitely check this one out. This next one is book 4 in the Immortals After Dark series, which is one of my favorite series of all time, one of the best paranormal romances that I've ever read, and this one is Dark Needs at Night's Edge by Kresley Cole. This can be read as a standalone, but like all of these characters honestly interconnect, so we see them all, you know, throughout the series. Each book is about a different couple, so they're all standalones, although book 2 is more related to this 4th book just because the heroes in them are brothers. But in Dark Needs at Night's Edge, we have a crazy vampire who ends up falling for a ghost that only he can see, which makes him, you know, a little bit crazier. Conrad, the hero, is the long-lost Roth brother, and once his other brothers find him, he has gone a little bit insane from all the bad blood that he's drank, so they hide him away in this haunted mansion. They don't realize that it's haunted, but it is, by the heroine, who is a ghost. She was a ballerina who ended up being murdered, so she's haunting this mansion, her former home, as a ghost, and for the very first time someone is able to see her. It's a very sexy paranormal romance. Obviously, since it's Kresley Cole, she writes the steamiest stuff. I figured since there's a ghost ghost in here and a vampire in here, I thought it would be a perfect addition to this list. It's definitely not horror or anything like that, not scary, and it does have its lighthearted, humorous moments. I love Naomi and Conrad. I love the Roth brothers. Those vampires are amazing, but honestly this whole series could fit into a Halloween themed read because they're all about vampires, werewolves, witches, ghosts, demons, and everything you can think of that's paranormal. It's gonna be in this series. I just love the series so much. I binge read like books 1 through 10 in about 2 weeks. It was all a blur honestly, but I just love them all. They're fantastic paranormal romances, lots of steam. Just love Kresley Cole so much. So if you're looking for something paranormal related for Halloween, this series and this book is perfect. This next book is actually a duet, 2 books, although they're pretty short. A friend recommended it to me and I figured why not? It sounded good, sounded really different, so I thought I'd give it a chance. I can't say that I loved it, but it was definitely dark and strange, and that is Hollow by Dee Prince. This one is a dark horror romance, not for the faint of heart at all. There is rape, there is torture, there's like extended psychological torture. It was just so bad in terms of what happened to the heroine. I felt so bad for her, but yes, definitely keep that in mind if you want to try this duet out. So the reason why I wanted to read this is because it's based off the legend of the Headless Horseman. I am kind of familiar with this story, but just not in books or romance books, but I wanted to see how a Headless Horseman would fall in love. He is very much a monstrous character who does terrible things to the heroine, but it's the kind of book where I couldn't really stop reading despite how insane it was. This novella is set in a small town, and every Halloween they have a lot of festivities for it, celebrating Halloween. Their town is where the Headless Horseman legend originated, and every year they try to make a sacrifice so that the Headless Horseman doesn't go crazy and kill everyone in town. It's a short and quick read. Both books in this duet are novellas, but even though it goes by fast, it stays on your mind, at least it did for me. So even though I didn't 100% love it, it was still a really fascinating read, one that fits in with the Halloween theme. This next one is a lot more lighthearted, thank God. It is straight up just a contemporary romance, and that is Truth or Beard by Penny Reed. I'm including this one in this Halloween list just because the opening scene takes place on Halloween. The rest of the book does not, but since that opening scene is there, I'm including it. The heroine, Jessica, is actually dressed up as Gandalf, but sexy. So she's wearing like a mini skirt and like a 3-foot long gray beard. It's pretty funny and I love her character. She has had a childhood crush on one of 2 twins in their small town, Bo, but of course her hero ends up being the other twin, Dwayne, who is a lot less nice and a lot less easygoing. He has had a crush on her since forever, so he's about to show her that he is the better twin for her. It's a really fun romance, a little bit sweet, a little bit of biker stuff thrown in there too. I just love the Winston brothers. Book 2 is still my favorite so far, even though Cletus is my favorite character of them all. He's the hero in book 3, but I am very impatiently waiting for the last book in the series about the second oldest brother, Billy, so that is on my November list. But if you haven't started the series, Truth or Beard is book 1, so you all need to read it and experience the wonder that is the Winston brothers. This next one is a book that I read for the last video that I made for books that I read from sponsored posts, and this one is These Monstrous Ties by KV Rose. This one centers around Halloween night and this ritual that this like popular group does every year on this night at this college town. It's dark, it's suspenseful, it's honestly just a wild ride of a read. The romance was a little bit too light for me. I wanted more of it, but if you like dark romances, if you like them set in college, read this one. It might float your boat. Just know that there are mentions of suicide, violence, and murder, so it's very much a dark romance. This next one is by Tiffany Rice. She actually has a couple Halloween related reads, but I just chose one of them, and that is The Lucky Ones. This one is a gothic romance. It is creepy, it is weird, it's got a ton of plot twists going on. It was just a mind-blowing read. I mean, most of them are. I love Tiffany Rice. I fell in love with her books when I read her original Sinner series, which is erotica. This one is not erotica though. This is just a gothic romance with a big creep factor. It's not scary or anything, but it does have the haunted feel to it. The heroine Allison gets a letter from her foster brother that their adopted dad is dying, and so she has to return home, a home that she left 13 years ago where she almost died. So when she returns home, she's trying to figure out what exactly happened 13 years ago. Was it an accident? Did someone try to kill her? There's a romance between her and that foster brother who sent a letter to her asking her to return home. It's not weird or anything since it's been 13 years since they've seen each other, but there is a romance and I liked it. I love Tiffany Rice. I love her writing. She definitely kept me on my toes while I was reading this one, kept me in suspense, trying to figure out what the heck happened. There's no Halloween holiday in it, but it is creepy, it is suspenseful, kind of a mystery thriller read. It's a gothic romance that sets you in the perfect mood for Halloween. She does have some other Halloween related stuff like her Halloween Treat, which is like a really short and quick Harlequin story that is really lighthearted and funny. So if you want something not creepy, read that one. She also has a ghost love story that I really enjoyed. She's just really good at writing both long and short stories, so if you haven't read Tiffany Rice, you should be doing that. Those were my 6 picks for some spooktacular Halloween romance reads. Hopefully you pick one up and enjoy it. Let me know if you do. As always, I'll leave links to all of the books that I mentioned in the description below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!